All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And Andrew Yang has dropped another video. We're going to check it out as we also check out the gargantuan, and we mean gargantuan, ad buys going on. It seems like the political advertisement zombie apocalypse is now officially upon us.
The season started. Man.
Yeah, the season
this
has
was the
started.
preseason. We're getting into the real season of campaigning, it looks
So
like.
here, Cody, tell us what's going on, man.
Okay, cool. Sorry. So first of all, what kind of led us into doing this? Andrew Yang had a new ad that dropped. It looks like at the very least, first aired in Iowa. It looks like in Sioux City at about 5:12 local. Which I believe is Central Time there, on ABC. So I want to run through this ad. I thought it was a really interesting ad. It's got some cool things in here. And then, as Carden talked about, we're going to take another look at kind of what the political ad buy season's looking like. So first of all, it's 30 seconds long. We're going to check out Andrew Yang's new ad focusing on drug prices and healthcare.
While drug companies are making record profits, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, just one medical emergency away from bankruptcy. I'm Andrew Yang, and I approve this message. As president, I'll fight for mental health coverage and eliminate the loopholes that let drug companies charge too much. They say they need high prices to fund research. The truth? Most FDA-approved drugs rely on research funded by the government. That means you paid for it. The old politics won't tell you that. I just did.
Okay, so initial reaction, I love the end. I love the
Yeah.
old politics. But I think that's also it's a plan forward, right? To make that pitch over time to people over and over again. Look, we used to do things differently up here. I'm going to change that. Basically, running on a change you can believe in. If you ever heard of that one before, but. Carden, anything else jump out to you? Because I did pull up a little bit of an article talking about the FDA drug price thing. I thought that was interesting, and that is the kind of one of those real life things that it's like a fact out there, but no one realistically, no offense to anyone watching out here, if you haven't done it yet, I'm not saying you're lazy, but your average person's not going to be like, I got to find out how we fund these drugs. You know what I mean? Most people just assume, I don't know, but it is interesting to see the government does basically subsidize drug research. So any drug company that says otherwise, they're not being 100% truthful. They're not lying, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's a lot of money they get from the government. So those are the two things that stood out to me. I think that's going to be very effective with your average person sitting at home because they might go, really? The government just funds drug research? What am I paying for? Because people do feel that way. And two, I love the old politics wouldn't tell you that, but I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So I definitely do want to dive into the data on this one. But also I do recognize, well, first off, stylistically, yeah, it was cool. I love how they took the phrase that's usually said at the end of political commercials that I'm Andrew Yang and I approve this message. And they say it at the beginning because that kind of just like shakes you out of the, I'm watching a political message frame. Also, I do like how he says others won't tell you this is the way it is. And I just did. That kind of confidence, I think, is really, really good and reassuring. I give credit where credit is due, so he gets good credit for that. But I also call out certain problems that I see. And him simply saying, the government researches drugs, so they're basically lying to you when they say they need to charge a lot of money to research new drugs because the government's giving it to them, so they're lying to you and you should be getting that profit back. I mean, that's basically the insinuation that he's making here. And this is my only problem with that is, before I do say this, I have to say I was talking with a lot of our fans over the weekend, Cody, in the comments.
Well, really, but also there is data to back up what he said.
Well, trust, and I'm about to throw a bunch of data out there too. But somebody said in the comments that they think that Carden channels the average American while Cody channels the viewer. So I'm wondering if the viewers are really going to dislike what I say or if they're going to like more what you say on this one. But here's the deal. Government does fund some research. We're talking like, CDC research, research into general health, wellness, so on and so forth, which does overlap with prescription drug research and does incentivize through certain grants to the scientific community all kinds of research into how we make drugs and pharmaceuticals. Okay. However, do we really want to create a system where the government chooses what's researched and not researched. My friend worked for Pfizer before Viagra was made, and all of these factories were getting built, and they were getting all excited. They knew something huge was coming, and my friend literally thought they'd found like a cure for Alzheimer's or cancer or something like that, because he was, an accountant on these projects, and he's like, dude, we're opening up factories, we're doing all this, and then all of a sudden, when it gets released, what this behemoth drug they've invented is, he's like, I just spent the past 4 years of my life developing an erection drug. You know what I'm saying? Like the blue pill. And he actually quit his job because he was so disappointed. So I don't think a free market capitalist system that's constantly chasing the highest profitable drugs are going to find the cure for some of these diseases and maladies that we need cures for. At the same time, we don't want a government choosing what gets studied and what doesn't, because my daughter had cancer. At 15 months, she was diagnosed with a choroid plexus carcinoma brain tumor. And the government gives less than 2 at the low end, 4 at the high end % of research dollars into pediatric cancer.
Okay, well, just because this video isn't only about debating Andrew Yang's ad, we are going to get into the rest. I want to highlight one thing here. There was a study done last year that found between 2010 and 2016, each of the 210 medicines approved for market came out of government-funded research to the tune of roughly $10 billion a year over that span on taxpayer money to fund the research of drugs. Now, what you're talking about is what they do is once that research is done, they will then turn around and use private-funded labs to conduct cheaper, more basic research to get to
to fine tune it.
And then they make their money, and none of that money goes back to the government. Realistically, it does. Obviously, they pay no taxes isn't 100% true, because every business has some consumption tax somewhere, but they pay far less than they probably should. Again, I'm not going to get into how much taxes Big Pharma pays. Just his claim that the government funds the research is a legit claim. You can have whatever analytical, anecdotal dislike you want with. Dude,
there's plenty that
for
is
6
done
years,
by
there
the
wasn't one drug that came to market that wasn't funded by the government research-wise in some capacity. Maybe not 100% of the research, but the government funds went to help research every drug that hit the market for a 6-year window, according to independent study.
Yeah. Now, but at the same token, you have to think the average drug, no matter how small it is.
We have way more stuff to get into in this ad than arguing about if Andrew Yang's ad is truthful or not. I'm just telling you. I dug into what he said. It backs up, man. We spent $10 billion funding drug research for every drug that hit the market for a 6-year window. Again, like you said, they do some additional...
The government is not the sole funder of research.
They're not the sole funder, but they still fund it a lot, to the tune of $64 billion.
And how much R&D are these companies putting in comparison to the government?
I don't care. All I'm saying is the fact that they get no help isn't true. They get a lot of generous help from the U.S. government.
Yeah, and also I do recognize that it is such a complex argument that I don't think there's really any one-sentence statement that can be put into a political ad.
I thought what he said
that couldn't be lampooned. Well. Yeah, I get that. I understand.
I thought what he said. I think you just have this weird thing where you're like, healthcare for all. I can't like it, so let me find out something that's not good about the ad.
No, that's not true. Well, I'm just saying I've experienced enough healthcare where I know that healthcare for all.
Okay, but I'm just saying what he said wasn't wrong. I don't know why you were determined to prove him wrong. What he said was correct.
No, I don't.
It checks out.
No, I don't think it was wrong, but I definitely think it was leading people to think that Big Pharma is
Okay,
they do lie to us on lots of other things.
Exactly. And we were going to talk about political ad buys in this video, but we spent 5 minutes arguing that point. I don't know why. So anyway, this is what the actual point of the video was. Because after we saw that, it kind of got me thinking, like, well, where was that ad buy from? I was trying to do more dig onto what buy we're actually seeing from Andrew Yang here. And what I found, I went back to the 538, which they're tracking every presidential TV candidate buys, and we found something crazy. I mean, it's here. Obviously, people that have been following a little more closely, you'll recognize what you're seeing on this graph. This graph is charting how many times a ad is aired, not money spent, but on a week-to-week basis, how many times a ad is aired per candidate. And you will see that in the last week, Michael Bloomberg ads have been seen more times over the last week than every previous week before it, every combined candidate except for 1 week in October. It is insane. Now, a couple other things that stand out. If you notice this gray line right here, on the bar, you can't see my mouse, but you notice the gray one right there at the bottom? That gray is actually Andrew Yang, who wasn't appearing on these charts up until about a week or two ago. And you'll notice something else about that gray line with Andrew Yang. He's spending more money than basically anybody who isn't Tom Steyer or Michael Bloomberg on ads. Aside from, it looks like early in November, Bernie Sanders did spend more money than him. Aside from that, he's the third highest spending candidate on TV ads over the last 3 weeks. Highest spending is incorrect according to this data. His ads have been seen the third most of anyone running for president the last 3 weeks. And the only people ahead of him, billionaire Tom Steyer and mega billionaire Michael Bloomberg. No one else is really overall. Like I said, Bernie Sanders is really close. Bernie Sanders spent more than him in November. You can see Bernie's that pink line right there.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, they aren't running ads at the rate that Andrew Yang is the last 3 weeks. Now, again, they're supposed to. We'll find out.
Look at how much Steyer.
Steyer's made the cottage industry of TV ads work for the last. Oh my God, how long is this? Since July, he's been running them.
Dude, I mean,
nonstop.
it's a green graph.
Yeah.
And it's Tom Steyer green.
It's going to be a gold graph moving forward with Michael Bloomberg.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Because, like, Bloomberg, it is crazy. And you'll notice even this is the most TV airings by far in any week. It's over double your average week of TV ad airings. So if it feels like you're seeing more TV ads than you're used to, by the way, again, I said TV ads, not YouTube, not social media. All that stuff are other ad buys. These are just the ones on television. And by the way, I'm seeing Michael Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders YouTube ads all the time. So they're running those as well. But I'm saying on television, we are seeing the first mass influx. And like I said, go back 3 weeks. Andrew Yang didn't appear on this list up until 3 weeks ago. And you're seeing he's becoming if it wasn't for Michael Bloomberg, he would look like a more sizable player in the TV ad game just because Michael Bloomberg's dominating. But as I was highlighting, he's basically, as far as according to this metric, as far as viewings on air have gone, or airings have gone, he's been the third most prominent candidate on television over the last 3 weeks, which is pretty big.
I almost feel like I need to cancel my YouTube Premium membership.
You can watch the ads.
Just so I could start being a little bit more in the know on these ads.
Just make another account. Your ad account.
Yeah. Because I got to tell you, if it weren't for this show, I wouldn't see the political ads because I hate them so much that I just spend the $3 on whatever paywall for whatever, streaming service that I'm using. But I mean, holy smoke, would you look at that? I don't think there's a demographic he didn't cover.
And then just an idea for money, just really quickly, an idea for what the money looks like. I just took this Andrew Yang ad. This Andrew Yang ad ran for, it looks like 13 days, like a little under 2 weeks. It aired, what is that, a total of 500 times, 490 times, and it cost him about, it looks like a little over $200,000 for 490 airings. So how much money do you think was spent for over 24,000 airings? Again, it varies by market, varies by time slot, varies by a lot of things. Still, how much money do you think was spent? Because again, Andrew Yang spent over $200,000 to get 490 TV spots aired. What is this, dude? What is 23,000 in 7 days? What does that money look like going? I mean, so much money's being pumped into this right now. And the candidates, Andrew Yang has been prominently going on a fundraising surge right now. And this is where it's going, guys. You're going to see this gray line keep creeping up, probably, I'm assuming, because I think it's helping him a little bit in the polls. It's hard to tell for weeks because people always say, really? And it's like, dude, nobody's like, oh, I support Joe Biden. And then they see 2 Andrew Yang commercials. You ask them 2 days later, like, I changed my mind. You know what I mean? But you see 15 Andrew Yang commercials for a month and a half, and you might go, okay, it's just how it works. But he's making that bet. And I would say making the same bet that the billionaires are probably isn't a bad move. I mean, I get neither of them have the most political experience. Michael Bloomberg was a mayor of New York City, but I mean, is mayor of New York City just kind of like an honorary title for like the most influential, richest person in New York City at the time? They're the mayor of New York City, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, it kind of feels like there's like the guy. It's not as much. He didn't do a Senate race in rural Arkansas. Like
traditionally, mayor of New York was really considered a stepping stone to the presidency.
Well, it's because New York City is a stupid outsized. Oh, actually, New York City didn't used to have a dumb outsized version of itself because the country did, like you said, really used. There was a time, I would say it's totally flipped now. There's probably a time people said, oh, he was the mayor of New York City. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are like, oh, he was the mayor. Bill de Blasio was the most hated person running for president up until he dropped out. It was hilarious. Whenever Democrats were polled, Bill de Blasio was dead last. Nobody likes the mayor of New York City anymore. Maybe there was a time, but there's the picture I was showing on Twitter. It's going around of a bunch of golf buddies hanging out. It's Donald Trump, Michael Bloomberg, Rudy Giuliani, Bill Clinton, and Joe Torre, former Yankee manager.
Hanging out with the squad.
But you'll notice it's just 4 wealthy, influential New Yorkers and then the president. Like, that makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's like. There's like the New York aristocracy. It's real. They're the powerful people who make all now over time it's broken down because people have moved, but I thought that was fun. We've been talking a lot, but the reason I brought that up is because you want to talk about New York City aristocracy. One of them is president, and the other one just spent $34.1 million, I believe. What do they have it at? As of the close of business on Friday, advertising analytics tracked buys from Michael Bloomberg of around $34 million, touching part of all but of the lower 48 states. Jeez. Holy cow! According to Ben Taber, an analyst for television ad tracking,
what 2 states did he skip?
I would assume, if I had to guess, probably
California, New York,
Alaska, Wyoming, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
He probably just said, where are people not watching television? Like, there's probably a line. Where can I get this many eyes on my ads? Not here.
Or where do I literally have no hope?
Or maybe he's not running him in Iowa. Because he is skipping those states campaigning wise. Again, the Bloomberg campaigns, but the Michael Bloomberg campaign is basically, it seems like somebody's trying to prove that our political system is broken, because he's basically skipping the early states, not going to debates, and self-funding TV ads. And this is basically his gimmick. I've never heard of anyone winning presidency but not going to debates, not going to early states, and just spending their own money and refusing donors. Like, I haven't heard of that.
Well, emotionally, I'm excited and mortified of the Bloomberg strategy, and here's the reasons why, Cody. I would love it if these early states could be put in their place. Okay? These early states have enjoyed being so spoiled.
Hey, we were in Nevada, and they talked about Nevada. No offense to Nevada, but remember how they talked about Nevada out there? Like, it was the greatest state of all time.
Oh, yeah. Please. You know what I'm saying?
I like Vegas.
Yeah. But, I mean, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. Yeah, it's like, it's strange that the Democrat Party, this bastion of anti-racism, is literally putting all of its efforts into the two of the top 3 whitest states in the union are the ones that are the early voters, determining how we choose minority rights. It makes absolutely no sense, okay?
Well, also, just like you said, it's weird from the sense of, like, winning in Iowa doesn't necessarily tell you what the rest of the country is going to feel like, because Iowa is a unique state demographically.
Yeah, please. It's if you tell me what Astoria, New York thinks, then I've got a little bit more of a cross section of the American public, right?
I would say even Carolina and Nevada aren't as bad. That makes more sense. Probably more general to what you see across the country.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is, part of me is really attracted to the idea of he's doing basically political research and development. If Bloomberg can skip the first 4 early states and then just hammer Super Tuesday and it works out, then he has established a precedent in which the spoiled early states can just be foregone completely, and you focus on the Super Tuesday states, one of which is now California, our state, okay? That is what attracts me to the Bloomberg candidacy. What mortifies me about the Bloomberg candidacy is everything I feared about our democratically elected constitutional republic. Everything that I fear about our republic being for sale under Tom Steyer just got put on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything that we worried about with Tom Steyer, literally, how far can you buy yourself in, literally just got dwarfed. And I've never even heard the term that you just said today, Cody, but it just blew my mind that we're having a podcast about this. You said all of these bars here represent billionaire Tom Steyer, and now mega billionaire Bloomberg has jumped in. So I am both attracted and mortified to the Bloomberg experiment of the next 6 months, because if he pulls this off, literally there's just a for sale sign hanging around the Statue of Liberty's neck.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, it is scary. And this, like I said, this graph was going to be, I'm assuming this graph we're looking at here is going to look a lot more like this week than it is going to look like the preceding weeks for the rest of the cycle. You know what I mean? I have a feeling this is going to be the norm. Because if Andrew Yang's ramping up his ad spending, if Steyer's been burning money all cycle, if Bloomberg's looking to jump in and just embarrass people with the money he's spending, I'm assuming someone else will start spending money as well on these ads. Because I'm assuming at some point they have to start working, unless Tom Steyer really didn't feel like paying taxes this year. And he's like, I'm just going to lose $200 million on a political campaign and write it off. I don't know, but I just thought it was funny that we watched the Yang ad.
Yeah, it was advertisement for the Bloomberg machine. Bloomberg LLC advertising.
But how about this also? Michael Bloomberg could want someone else besides him to be president, and he could, I don't want to get into the conspiracies, but let's say Bloomberg does what he's doing now, which is what you run, and all you do is run TV ads. And all the TV ads do is attack your would-be opponent. This year it's Trump, but just whoever it would be, right? All you do is attack that person and kind of vaguely promote yourself as an attack dog, essentially.
Okay.
With no intentions of winning. Because then that means that this is all money Michael Bloomberg is spending to help potentially reinforce whoever the nominee is. If he just spends a whole cycle trashing the other nominee of the other party, even if it's not him it benefits. Anyway, we're going long anyways. I just thought it was funny. New Andrew Yang ad came out, so we took a look at it. I was trying to get more info on that money, the ad buys, and I saw this. I saw that Michael Bloomberg indeed spent $34 million. Holy cow. As one person, a analyst for the television and ad tracking firm Advertising Analytics, Ben Taber, said, this buy is massive in all caps. So I think it's going to be the biggest buy of all time, he wrote. And then President Barack Obama had spent 30 in a 1 week long buy in 2012. And yeah, you know what? I would probably believe this is the most amount of money anyone's ever spent on 1 week in political ads. So like I said, Andrew Yang started a new ad on healthcare. We had our beef about it. I think it's a pretty good ad. I think it's pretty effective. I like his new slogan. But really, the story of the week when it comes to TV ads is it looks like the season's just started, folks. It looks like buckle in and get ready for nothing but political TV ads, predominantly from Michael Bloomberg and other billionaire Tom Steyer, but a little bit from Andrew Yang as well.
This literally looks like the emotional graphs that they do in focus groups when they're testing movies. Like the zombie apocalypse starts, and then there's always that one incident that was caught on TV, but there's still a day before it's a real outbreak. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a couple of things that happen that's weird, and then boom, it starts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it happens.
Enter the second act. We have officially entered the second act of the zombie political apocalypse or ad apocalypse. It has started. And here's the other thing. That graph, Cody, will probably only go up.
Oh, exactly.
That graph will only go up. Any amazement that we have right now on that $34.1 million that was just dropped by Bloomberg is probably only about to get bigger. All right. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. Please make sure you comment below if you haven't had a chance to like the video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to our channel. If you want to participate and contribute to the channel, there's a PayPal link that is in the description, or you can pick up a Problem Solver Politics hat at problemsolverpolitics.com. If you do pick up a hat, make sure that you send us a pic, tag us on Twitter at PSP Radio 1 and follow us there because that's where we give a lot of our announcements out. And if you want to check us out on Instagram and Facebook, we're there also under Problem Solver Politics. And no matter what, make sure if you're old school like me, you call us and leave a voicemail at 1-833-PSP Radio. That's 1-833-PSP Radio. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you in the next video.